welcome back to Cosmopolics Anonymous. I am your favorite mother of two, Bougie Vintage, and today's video is the second last installment in the 7 Deadly Sins series. Today we're going to be talking about jealousy and envy, and I'm sure all of you have experienced jealousy and envy either towards you or you have felt jealousy or envy towards someone else. So if you are unaware of the actual definition of envy, it is as follows. Envy is a desire for others' traits, status, abilities, or situation. Now, I don't know about you guys, but every single time I post a video or something that's showcasing a talent or just doing something that I've been blessed with, somebody always comments and says, oh, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. I wish I could paint like you. I wish I could sing like you. I wish I could dance like you. I wish I could do my makeup like you. Blah, blah, blah. Okay? And so I know that when people are saying this, it's lighthearted. They're not like, you know, kicking themselves in the butt because they can't do certain things the way I can do them or whoever they're watching can do. But at the end of the day, a part of them still feels some sort of inadequacy because they have what I would like to call the comparison demon. And comparison is one of the most dangerous things that we can allow into our spirit. Before I continue, I just need to even just open up in prayer, girl. I just jump right into the lesson. I didn't even pray, girl. I was like, let me tell y'all about envy. Holy Spirit, I just ask that you fall fresh in this place. I ask that you allow anybody that is watching this video right now to receive this word, oh Lord, that you've placed inside of me and have drawn out of me, oh God, to deliver. I pray that when I am delivering this word, that your presence is felt, that your presence is known, and that I am excluded out of the picture. I want this to just be a moment between your people and you, oh God, and it is so. Amen. Okay, now that I've prayed, we can get right on into it. I want to read to you guys a scripture. This is Isaiah 40, verse 6 to 8. You can use any version of the Bible you wish, but I am going to head into the New King James Version. The voice said, cry out. And he said, what shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all its loveliness is like the flower of the field. The grass withers, the flower fades, because the breath of the Lord blows upon it. Surely the people are grass. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of our God stands forever. And so when I read this, I thought, this is actual factuals. This is true because we as humans, we get old, okay? And we get wrinkly, and in today's society, they have pushed it on you that you need to use anti-aging creams and you need to get Botox and you need to get fillers and you need to do this and that because you're trying to fight the natural process of life. People are like the flowers in the field and the grass. The grass fades and the flowers wither away. And that's what we're supposed to do as humans. And if you're fighting against that, you're fighting against the will of God. And so today I kind of just want to touch a little bit on that and about why today we are so envious and jealous when we don't need to be. So I'm going to read you another scripture from the good prophet Jordan Woods. And she said something so prolific that when it happened, when it left her mouth, she didn't know it, but it was about to shake the earth like when an elephant delivers a baby, okay? She didn't know that when she said these words that they would basically break the internet, since, you know, this is a modern day and age, okay? She was gonna break the internet, and those 4 words were, I don't want your situation. Girl, 5 words. Child, I can't count. So she didn't know, but she said 5 words, not 4 words, that were going to permeate over the earth like a flood, girl. And it was, I don't want your situation. Now, I could drop the mic right there because that's a word in itself, but I want to go a little deeper with you, and so that's what I'm going to do. When Jordan sat across from Jada at Red Table Talk, I don't think she realized that somebody was going to take that excerpt and run with it. I don't think she realized how prolific those words are and how much we can apply those 5 words to our lives. I think the lesson in those 5 words are everything is not as it seems, and everything that seems good is not all that is cracked up to be. It's my observation that we spend so much time, so much more time on social media and other people's lives than we do on ourselves. And I'm gonna say that again because I don't think you heard me in the back. We spend more time online than we do on ourselves. I'm like, what is missing? I'm talking about we spend too much time online and not on ourselves. Girl, I don't have anything on my lips. What? There we go. As humans, I find that we live for a good distraction. And unfortunately, the people that don't get acquainted with the good Lord above, with Jesus Christ, child, those people may never turn off their distractions to obtain or attain that peace that you get from God. I think that sometimes our realities just seem so draining. Our realities are hard to face. And so a lot of people don't want to remove distractions from their life because that means they have to then look at their reality. That means they have to face their fears, face their emotions that they're suppressing. That means that they have to dig deep and snap out of whatever it is that they're into. And when you choose not to remove distractions from your life, whatever they are, you're choosing to not work on yourself. You're choosing to not allow God to work on you or through you. And I think it's really important that we give God that time of day. I think it's really important that we allow him to breathe new breath into our lungs and anoint us with new oil. Okay, because some of the oil that we done had is stale, girl. It done dried up. It is stale. There's only a little tiny drip left. I mean, we need to be anointed to the point where oil is literally dripping off of us. It's not really a news flash. It's not really new information that social media has caused unrealistic living expectations amongst young people and old people alike. And I think even more importantly, social media has made it so that we are ready and willing to do whatever it means to make money, to live like those that we see online, living their best lives, as they would say. There is a catch here, though, that you have to pay attention to, because they're showing you all the good and hiding all the bad. Nobody's going to get online and tell you, I'm miserable, I am suffering with my peace, I don't have any peace. They're not going to get online and tell you that. They're only going to show you what looks good and what appeals to the masses. Never the full truth, because everything has 2 sides. There's 2 sides to a coin. There's 2 sides to your head. Like, there's 2 sides to everything. The front and the back of a shirt, there's nothing that doesn't have 2 sides. Okay, we don't live in a world where things are one-dimensional. I think it's time to start asking those kinds of questions to the people that you're looking up to. A lot of these celebrities or famous people, whoever it is, a lot of them are so tormented inside that they wish they were living like the rest of us. They wish they were living like you and I and normal people, regular people with regular lives and regular jobs, because what they do has a lot of upkeep. I think that a lot of what is shown is glamorous, and even glamour has 2 sides. You know what I mean? It's like your makeup. Like, before I'm this glam, I'm plain Jane. You know what I mean? I ain't complaining, girl, because I love my face. But 2 sides. There's the side without makeup, and then there's the side that is glamorous. You know what I mean? When I wake up, I don't look like this. That is a bold-faced lie. If I come on here talking about I woke up like this, that's a lie, okay? Now, the glow, on the other hand, I do wake up with a glow, I ain't gonna lie. But I do not wake up with this much makeup on my face. I don't wake up with any makeup on my face. Like, truth be told, I only wear makeup if I am doing something important, or if I'm filming, and sometimes I don't even wear makeup to film, and so I ain't always glamorous, okay? Sometimes I look like a zombie, and that's totally fine. And this is why envy and jealousy are the silliest sins of the 7 deadly sins. It is so silly to look at somebody else and be like, that's what I want. Because you might not realize it, you might not know it yet, but there's something inside you dying to come out, and that is better than what you're looking at or trying to achieve. I've come to realize that anything that we see that we think we want, like somebody else, or that somebody else has, it comes with a price, and most often it's not a price that you are willing to pay, because it's not monetary value. It is something that is priceless, that has been gifted to you. And if you want to trade that for a certain lifestyle, well, that's on you, girl. But if you really prefer to have internal peace and real happiness, real joy, because those things can't come from material possessions, then you're gonna have to do some serious soul searching and find out why is it that you are lusting after or being jealous and envious of the things that other people have. I don't think that there is one famous person that has it all together up here. I feel like they've had to trade a lot to obtain their riches, their physical wealth, and it has weighed on them. And I don't want to say anybody's name in particular. I don't want to really call anybody out, but I think that this shoe fits many feet. I don't think this is a this person and not that person situation. I think it really fits a lot of feet, and we've seen it in the media. So I'm going to touch on that in a little bit, but it's just, I guess, an eye-opener. I want you guys to think about how many celebrities you have seen that have spent astronomical amounts of money to perfect their image. How many celebrities can you think of on the top of your head that don't even look the way they did when they first came onto the scene? I can think of so many right now. Like, I could just start naming them like this. Like, and when you look at the befores and the afters, you're like, wait a second. There's no way. There's no way you used to look like that. There's just absolutely no way. And now I want you to think about how many people, whether like a YouTuber or another type of famous person, have either come forward about their surgeries or have tried to deny it. Because this list is like, listen here, child. That list is probably the longest of the 3 things that I just mentioned. Now I want you guys to think about yourself. And if you've ever found yourself looking up to one of these people and wanting what they had, or wanting or feeling like it's necessary for you to augment your body on a surgery table because you're unsatisfied with the way that God created you. I just want to remind you that we are all created in God's image. Therefore, if you find that there's something imperfect about yourself, you're saying that God is not who he says he is. You're denying him, essentially. Because if he made you with your nose a certain way, that means that you look, that's how God looks. God sees himself in you. And so you were created and you're supposed to look a certain way. You're not supposed to go on a surgery table and change it. It's just not supposed to be that way. The thing is, this is not entirely your fault. Sometimes it's not necessarily because you had an issue with how God created you, but the enemy has come in and told you lies. He's deceived you and told you through people around you that you're not perfect already, that your nose is too big, your ears are sticking too far out, your eyes are too close or too far apart, your lips are too big or too small. You know what I mean? I've had those lies told to me. I talked about this before. I wanted lip injections for so long, and then as I got older, I realized that was so dumb. I wanted lip injections in my top lip because I thought my top lip was too small for my bottom lip, but that's not the case. And the enemy had literally come in and told me that. And every time I looked in the mirror, I thought I was ugly, and I thought all these negative things, but those were all lies. What the enemy likes to do is create and stir up insecurities that you didn't even really have. And all it takes is one person pointing out a flaw, and then you just can't get it out of your head, and you're like, oh my gosh. If you're 115 pounds and somebody says, hey, you're looking kind of chunky, it's going to stick with you, and it's just going to keep replaying in your head. And then before you know it, you have an eating disorder, or you're looking in the mirror like, oh my gosh, they're right, I look so fat, like these pants don't even fit me, because you gained 10 pounds. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? It's not like you're morbidly obese. Like, 115 pounds is a pretty good weight. That just goes to show you how it really only takes one person for you to start looking at yourself in a different light. But that one person's opinion about you is not the truth. And so now that you're faced with this insecurity, you are trying to save money, you're trying to do certain things to eliminate this insecurity. You're trying to change something about yourself so that you will feel better about yourself. But this almost 100% of the time never really works or pans out the way that people anticipate it to. That being said, you may not want to be the person that revisits the surgery table multiple times to mutilate your body. You might not even really want to go to surgery the first time. I don't think anybody wants to go to surgery. I think people feel like they have to go to surgery or need to go to surgery. And so even if you're not the person that feels like they have to revisit the table time after time after time, what nobody's sharing with you, because they're only sharing the good parts, is that when you go to change or alter your body, it's only a temporary satisfaction. It does not fix what's inside of you. That insecurity is in your brain. It is not coming from your outward appearance. And so unless you fix what's up here and in your heart, you cannot move forward. You're going to then find something else that you don't like about yourself that you want to change, and I'm going to prove it to you. I can think of so many people that have gone to have surgery the first time and then went back for round 2 and then to round 20. Like, I can think of so many different people that looked one way and now look another way. Your inside is the damaged parts of you. It has nothing to do with your outward appearance. And the minute that you fix yourself internally, or the minute that God fixes you internally, because we can't even take credit for it, the minute that God fixes you internally, any insecurity, any flaw, anything that makes you reconsider how you look will be removed from you, and you'll know that that's the enemy lying to you. And once the enemy realizes that you don't even fall into that trap anymore, he's gonna leave you alone, okay? Resist the devil and he will flee from you, girl. This ain't new. I'm gonna use the example of people that suffer with body dysmorphia, especially because, hi, I'm one of those people. I've suffered with this thing since like the 8th grade. That's when I first started seeing myself as fat, because I had gained weight in the 8th grade. And people noticed because I was stick thin, and then all of a sudden I was not. And that's because I was eating junk food every day for lunch. And so it wasn't like I was morbidly obese. I mean, look at me, I'm not morbidly obese. But I went from being like 95 pounds to 115 pounds. And so when people noticed that I was gaining weight, I remember the first person that actually noticed it was my mom. When she had noticed it, she had said something about it, and it wasn't to hurt me. She wasn't calling me fat. She just told me that I was gaining weight, and it triggered something in my brain that was like, oh my God, I'm fat. Like, that's all it took. One person. It took my mom saying that to me that made me start basically suffering with this thing. And so from the 8th grade up until probably the 11th grade, I started really paying attention to my weight and trying to not gain weight and making sure that, you know, once I got, I don't think it was in the 9th grade that I started purging, but eventually I started purging. I started throwing up my food because I didn't want to be fat. And that was the enemy. Like, I was just led down these dark places because I believed the lies that my own head basically had created about myself. In my mind, I was so much bigger than I actually was. And in my mind, I kind of didn't have control over how I really felt about my body. I was seeing what wasn't there. I spent years sucking in my stomach when I was walking around because I thought that there was fat there that wasn't there. Like, and so when I got older and I looked at the pictures from that time, I was like, I was skinty, minty, girl. I'm talking Mariah Carey thin, girl. I was skinny. And so I'm like, how did I think I was fat? How? Even when I look at pictures from shortly before I had Salem, I was so skinny, but I still thought I was fat. And right now, I definitely think I'm fat, but it's like I'm okay with it because I have peace. And so obviously I plan to lose weight because I'm not trying to be this weight. I'm short, so I shouldn't really be a certain weight. So, you know, but I'm not bothered by my body because I'm a mom. You know what I mean? Like, I just gave birth 7 months ago. So I have to be nice to myself. I can't feed myself the lies that I have fed myself for the last however many years. I know now that this is because my spirit was not being nurtured, but being tortured. And I know that I was capping my spirit and not allowing myself to feel what it needed to feel or be filled with what it needed to be filled with because I was also running from my purpose. Not that I knew, but if I had grabbed hold to God's hand earlier, I would have probably not felt the way I was feeling about myself. I believe that it is easier to go and pay for surgery than it is to work on our mind, work on the actual problem. When we allow God to come in and transform us from the inside out, this is when we will no longer feel the need to change what we see or what we think we see, because this is not even what we see. This is what the enemy has told us. This is what people have said. This is not what we used to think. We were innocent and we were basically tainted or poisoned with negative feelings towards ourselves and towards our bodies. As God was filling me with this word, I felt him say to me, how can I fix something we did not create? Imagine somebody went to the Louvre. They went to the museum in Paris, or wherever it is, girl. It's in Paris, right? And saw the Mona Lisa and whipped out some paintbrushes and said, let me just add something to this. It's missing something, child. Or even brought modeling clay and tried to change a sculpture that is ancient because they felt like there was something wrong with it. But you're not the creator. So how do you think that it's okay to go and fix something that you did not make? I'll wait. I'm telling you right now that whoever thinks that they could just go up in a museum and alter something, they're going to be handcuffed and escorted off the premises immediately, okay? They ain't gonna play about that stuff. And that's how we have to see ourselves. That's how we have to see our bodies. Because at the end of the day, I know I didn't create me, okay? I'm about to take credit for that. No, thank you. We have to learn to accept that God created us in his image and his likeness. When he created us, he said, it's good. And here you come in talking about no, it ain't. How you gonna say no, it ain't to what God said is good? Like, when God created you, he literally said it is good, you know, and you are over here disagreeing with God. Well, I'll be, honey, because I ain't about to do all that. Even when I put on makeup, sometimes I'm like, sorry, God, like, I need to even the skin tone out. I need to add something to my eyes. Like, you know what I mean? But for me, personally, makeup is actually just another form of art. And I didn't know it, but all these years that I've been practicing my makeup has been teaching me how to shade in my actual first love, which is art, which is painting. And I've always kind of mentioned that on my channel, that art is my first love. And so that's why, or how I got into makeup, because it was just another way for me to express art, but moving art, girl. Okay, look at this. Woo, girl. Okay. And so God understands that, you know, he ain't mad at me for putting on these false lashes and all these things. He loves me. But yeah, sometimes when I'm putting on makeup, I'm like, I'm sorry, God, I want to wear lip gloss today. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah. The reason that we tell or we say, no, it's not good, is because of the lies that have polluted our minds. Through the course of my journey, I kept coming across this saying, which I think everybody should pretty much live by: change your mind, change your life. And the first time I heard it, I was like, yep, I understand. That's definitely it. Because I think as humans, we tend to put limitations on ourselves because we think that we are humans, but really we are spirits. And so spirits don't have limitations. Spirits are forever. And if you start living that way and start believing that, you will achieve a lot more than what you're achieving right now. Because you put yourself in a box because they told you, the same they that DJ Khaled's always talking about, they told you that that's what you can do. But what did God say? That's what we have to start thinking about. And that's how we have to start living. We can't be accepting all the stuff that we've been told throughout the years, not just about ourselves, but in general. This is why people have degrees and stuff in these fields that they think that they're supposed to work in, but they can't get a job in that field. It's a roadblock. It's because that's not what they're supposed to be doing with their life. There's something else out there for them. And so they've wasted this money on school. Now, I ain't saying don't go to school now, Chad. That's not what I'm saying. But I think if more people would dive in and find out what God's purpose is for their life, they would have a lot more direction and their steps would be ordered further than where they have been. There's a reason why people are stagnant in today's society. There's a reason why you went to school to be some engineer and you're working as a manager at McDonald's. It doesn't add up. You never sat there and said, hold on, God, something not right here. What's in the water? I spent 7 years in school. How come I can't get a job in my field? Well, wake up, sister. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. So figure it out. So let me continue. I think we all have been guilty of being inspired by somebody else's life. And I'm using the word inspired because that's the word that we see thrown out all the time. Inspo, inspiration, like inspirational, blah, blah, blah. I think we use that as a way to mask what truly we are feeling, which is a little envious. We see people with things that look good, but we never take a minute to say, I wonder how they're doing in the mental department. I wonder how they're doing upstairs. Look how many famous people or celebrities commit. Look how many have to go to rehab, not just one time, but repeatedly have to go to rehab and can never seem to get well. When we look at those people's lives and then we go and check their social media accounts, it's not until they pass away that we start to see the cryptic hidden messages there that they were not happy. Because their captions were dark, but we didn't take it as dark at the time because the picture doesn't match the caption. All you see is the picture. Forget the caption. All you see is them like, yeah, like party like a rock star. But the caption was something that had to do with popping pills or if I die tonight, blah, blah, blah. We never see those things until after they pass away from an overdose or they're hospitalized for something and in critical condition. I think social media has really blinded us and kind of desensitized us. I think famous people are important examples to look at because they're suffering just like the rest of us, even though they have more than us. Even though they appear happy, the truth is a lot of them are really not. Most celebrities, you probably have heard them say like they need a distraction. And this is why a lot of them go on long needed hiatuses or vacations. It's because their lives are so hectic, they never get a moment to themselves to actually get that peace of mind that you can only get from the Prince of Peace. You know what I mean? Nobody is seeking the healer of all healers because they're looking for distraction. They're looking for other antidotes to medicate their sicknesses. They're looking for other things to ingest to fix things on the inside that cannot be fixed with medication. There is no medication, no real medication for peace. There's nothing that you could take that's going to give you peace. You think Xanax is going to give you peace? Any medication that you are given for any kind of mental disorder, it is only there to suppress what you're going through. You don't heal from it. No medication that they could give you that is permanent. Everything is temporary. Everything that they give you to fix your brain or fix your mental state is a temporary fix. You can't stop taking your medication because that means you're going to go back to how you were. But when you accept God in your life, when you have Jesus on your side, girl, you get the healing. You get your mind back. And people don't want to accept this. People don't believe this. People reject this idea because that's what we've been trained to do, reject it. I spent so much time running away from God. I ran into him because we don't exercise our faith the way that we know we're supposed to. Nobody has been able to properly get that healing that they need, that they're desperate for, that they're searching for. Nobody's been able to do it because people are double-minded. People say they have faith, but then on the other hand, they have that doubt just lingering there. And you can't do that. You can't have faith and doubt in the same room. They gonna fight. And doubt is gonna win every single time unless you have faith that is so strong, there's no room for doubt in the room. It has to fill up the entire circumference of the room. That's the kind of faith you have to exercise. That's the kind of faith I've learned to exercise. I didn't know that that's how it was supposed to be because I was not getting edified. I was not learning the Bible. I was not learning God the way that he needed me to learn him. You can't have faith and doubt living in your brain. Once you have faith, it should take over the whole thing and push doubt out. But if you're somebody that struggles with that, then you're going to continue to struggle in life because your doubt is not allowing you to keep your faith. When Robin Williams passed away, I was deeply saddened and a little confused and disturbed. And this is because this was somebody that over the years has made millions of people laugh, myself included. I mean, I can't tell you guys how many times I've watched Mrs. Doubtfire or Flubber. Like, there's so many movies. Jack, like, there's so many movies of he's pretty much always been one of my favorite actors. I've always really been drawn to him since I was a child. And so when he passed, I was like, whoa, how does somebody that spends their whole life making other people laugh not even know how to make themselves laugh through their problems? Because a lot of people, when you are putting on a comedy, it's because you need or you feel like you need a good laugh. And so I'm like, how did Robin not know how to make himself laugh through whatever he was going through? How is that so? And I start to think about, there's probably so many aspiring comedians that were envious of Robin's life up until he took his life. There's probably so many people, not even comedians, that were envious of Robin and his fame and fortune and probably wanted that for themselves because they didn't know that he was tormented enough to take his own life. And so I think that we spend way too much time looking in other people's directions, forgetting that they're humans just like the rest of us. Just because they have more stuff doesn't mean that they're more happy. Just because they have more stuff doesn't mean they have more peace. Because sure, money can fix a lot of problems in everybody's life, but it can also create problems that you didn't have before. I think one of the biggest issues about having a lot of possessions is that when you see those people, nobody cares about how they're doing. Nobody's asking Robin, hey, how are you today? They just come to him and they're trying to get a laugh out of him for themselves. They're not trying to see how he's doing. They just want to rub shoulders with him or elbows so that they can see what they can take from him to apply to their life to obtain the things that he had or has. Well, I mean, it has to be had, girl. The man's no longer with us, so had is correct. One thing that I really, really learned on this journey is that God wants us to know that less is more in his sight. He wants us to accept that his favor is over those with less, because he's looking and waiting for us to just turn to him and say, I need you. You are the provider. You are my provider. I need you to give me whatever it is that I need. I need you to sustain me, and then I need you to maintain me. He wants us to look to him for our supplication. He wants us to say, this is the demand, we need your supply. Okay, he is the supplier. Okay, we need to go to God as the factory, as the warehouse. That's who he is. A lot of people that have a lot of possessions, a lot of stuff, a lot of money on the outside, in the physical sense, are empty on the inside. Stuff can never give you peace. Stuff can never fill you up. It can fill your house up. You can be on hoarders, as we've seen, but it can't fill you inside. Those people that are on hoarders, those people that are on that show, they're holding on to things internally and externally, and it's translating on the outside because they don't have peace inside. So they think that if they keep all these things that they've built weird attachments to, that they'll be okay, but they're truly suffering and they're embarrassed. And like a lot of those people, if you open their front door, a bunch of stuff, rats, rodents, and roaches are going to fall on top of you as soon as you open their front door. You can't even navigate through their homes. They can't even navigate through their own mind. So obviously, ain't no visitors coming up in that place that can navigate through it, because they can't even navigate through their own house. What's in your house? What's in your house? When we start looking for Jesus, when we start looking to God for answers instead of man, He'll see our faithfulness and he'll start to bless you with things that no man on earth can provide you with. He'll start to come in and transform you on the inside, and then it's going to transform your outside. He's just waiting on you. He's waiting. That's where I get my peace and my wholeness and my glow. Come on now. I know somebody out there wants this glow, girl. I know you envious of this glow, honey. And I'm not going to give it to Fenty. This is straight from the Lord. I will boast in the Lord. I don't care. If that is something that you're looking for, there's only one place you're going to find it. And it's already in you. You just have to pull it out. I want you guys to walk away from this without feeling that enviness or jealousy towards the people that you've chosen to follow, the people that are on your timelines every day. I don't want you guys to be upset at the things that you can't afford because they're on your timelines. Look at the Claremont twins. They literally embarrassed themselves, and one of them ended up in jail. Did she go to jail yet, girl? Because they were trying to impress people that don't give a crap about them. They were trying to live a certain lifestyle, keep up with the Joneses, and they sacrificed their peace for it. They sacrificed their wholeness. They sacrificed who they were. They went on Bad Girls Club, came off of Bad Girls Club, had been gassed up because so many people took a liking to them. They wanted to live like celebrities do and have fancy purses and carry on like they were somebody special, but they were so unhappy internally that they both together went on the surgery table, altered their noses. They look crazy. They altered their bodies. They look like wisdom teeth, and still were unable to attain what they were trying to attain, to the point where they were using a dead man's credit card to order thousands of dollars in merchandise. For what? If you do not feel validated on the inside, nothing you purchase for the outside is going to give you that validation. Those girls need mental eval. They need healing. And I don't want this to come off as judgmental, but this is the truth. We have to fix up here and in here before we see any real changes, or before we see ourselves in a different light. Had those girls looked in themselves, deep in themselves, and figured out what it was they were supposed to be doing with their lives, they wouldn't have been out there selling their boxes if they truly knew who God created them to be. God didn't create us to sell our boxes. It's just not a thing. That is something that's constantly been in the media, not even specifically them, the over-sexualization and the fact that women carry something so prized attached to their bodies that no matter what, if you get backed into a corner, you should never be broke because you have something that everybody wants. What? I've heard this philosophy a few times, that a woman should never go broke because she has something that everybody wants and that there's always a need for. Are you serious? That is not why your hoo-ha was created, okay? It was not created for you to sell it. Don't be selling your front. That's just not what you're supposed to be doing. If you go to God right now and say, okay, what is the purpose for my life? I can guarantee you it's not that. That might have been a reality check. I feel that prophetically, okay? That might be a reality check for somebody watching this video, because you want so badly to keep up with the Joneses that you're willing to sell your soul that does not belong to you to buy something on the outside that's never going to fill you internally. So many young girls love the Claremont twins and stand for the Claremont twins and stand for any one of these celebrities really that is not pushing a decent or a good message, and they're pretty much unapologetic for their behavior. Never ever look up or look at somebody else's life and try to compare yourself to that person or your stuff to their stuff. Don't go out of your way trying to attain what you see somebody else with. We're each given the same amount of faith. We're each given mustard seed sized faith. And it's for you to grow your mustard seed into other mustard seeds, okay? So that you will always have a little bit of faith to use when you need to use it. Your faith can grow. You can plant your seed and water it and allow it to grow so that you always have more to use. That's what God wants from us. He wants us to grow our faith. He wants us to expand on what He's already given us. God has given us one of life's greatest treasures. And the more you envy other people, the more you are jealous of other people for the things they have and the things you don't, is the easier you make it for pirates to come in and steal your treasure, girl. You done gave them the map and told them where it's buried. That's what you do when you're envious and when you're jealous of people. I have a friend that is extremely self-conscious to where it's tiring, okay? So self-conscious, and they really truly feel like if they alter their outward appearance, it's gonna fix however they're feeling about themselves inside, because they're constantly having to look at what they don't like about themselves. So of course, I try to explain to them that you can change whatever you want to change on the outside, but once you fix that, you're then going to bounce to something else that you see on your body that you don't like, and you're going to try to alter that. And then you're going to find something else once that thing's fixed. Keep in mind, all the things that you want to fix cost a whole lot of money. But apart from that, you're going to keep trying to fix all these things on the outside. Then everything on the outside is going to be fixed that you deem imperfect. And you're going to start to spiral into a depression because you're going to look at yourself and be like, okay, I fixed all these things. Why do I still feel like this about myself? Why do I still feel empty? It's because internally is where your issue lies. Internally is what you're struggling with. So stop trying to mask it on the outside. Stop trying to tell yourself, okay, if I do this, I'm going to feel better about myself, because it's a bold-faced lie. It's another lie that the enemy has fed you. And you just eat that thing up like it's porridge. Like you Goldilocks and Three Bears and this is some porridge. It's perfect porridge. It's a lie. I want to quote the good apostle Beyonce. She said, she done told y'all, it's the soul that needs surgery. The soul is what needs surgery. Pretty hurts. Okay? Y'all go listen to that Pretty Hurts song, girl. She's speaking a word. She's giving a word in that song. And y'all didn't even know it. But I digress, girl. Girl, this sermon is long. I am definitely a person that had issues on the outside, like I said. But I looked in the right direction to find out why I felt that way. And I looked in the right direction for the healing that I needed for my soul. And I have not looked back. I don't desire to be perfect because I know that perfection, especially outwardly perfection, is impossible. And I know that even internal perfection is impossible. So I just desire to be progressive, girl. I desire to be as good of a person as I possibly can be. I don't need praise or approval from anybody. As long as God tells me, you all right, girl. You all right, sister girl. I'm good. I'm Gucci. That's all I need. Social media offers us fake validation. It offers us temporary validation. That's why people post these pictures and they're dying for the heart eyes that come in with all the emojis and the compliments telling them that they snatched, you know? I think everybody at one point or another has felt good once they've received that type of comment. The thing is, when you are getting high basically off of these temporary validations and these temporary feelings, what do you do when the high comes down? What are you gonna do? Post another picture that's making you feel validated again? Go out of your way to find the perfect outfit and the perfect pose in a still image on Instagram, or for a still image on Instagram, so that people will compliment you because you're feeling down and you need them to revalidate you? Why can't you look at yourself and be like, I know I look good, shoot. Why can't you give yourself that validation? God already gave it to you the minute that he created you. He already validated you. So there's no reason for you to be fishing for compliments anywhere. And one thing I really wanted to point out today was that most of the people that have had surgery, they're still so unhappy internally that despite the fact that they've had surgery, had surgery to perfect their outward appearance, they still have to go in with their Facetune and fine-tune their images before they post them. What? How does that make sense? You laid on a surgery table, you risked your life, got cut open, sucked out, pushed back in, nipped and tucked, only to have to still Facetune your stuff? What was the point? What was the reason? Like Cardi B said, girl, what was the reason? Why did you spend all that money if you're still gonna have to Facetune? You need to ask for a refund, girl, because something is wrong here. You traveled all the way to the Dominican Republic to fix your body, and you came back home and still got a Facetune? Why would anybody be envious or jealous of that situation? I don't want your situation, just like the good prophet Jordan said. I don't want your situation. You should not want that situation. If you want that situation, then something is really wrong with you. You really have to dig deep and be like, why do I want to have to do that? That's too much work, girl. Faith is for lazy people, girl. I am lazy and I got all the faith in the world. I am too lazy to fly to the Dominican Republic for them to put me asleep and steal my damn organs, for me to come back home and still have to Facetune my body. Because in here, I'm telling myself, something's not right still. I look crazy still. I look disgusting. That's what we're telling ourselves. And then we post the picture that we've so badly edited. We post this picture and are just sitting there waiting for the likes and the comments to roll in, telling us how good we look, and we get high off of it. And then once that high comes down and we start feeling invalid again, we don't take the time to work on ourselves. We just give ourselves another distraction. Is this you? Is that who you were designed to be? It's come to my attention that a lot of these people are suffering with mental illness. I realized that Kim Kardashian was suffering with a mental illness when I saw her in a bikini on the beach. I mean, the first time when she first emerged and we saw her behind and it looked good with her body type, there was nothing wrong. But I realized when she kept going back in and reshaping her bum and adding more fat to it, I realized something was wrong up here. I said, there's no way in hell. There's no way in hell, on earth, in heaven, there's no way that this woman looks at herself in the mirror and says, I look good. I want to know why doctors have not said no to her, or why her family has not said to her, girl, you need to stop. I get we need the attention to keep the ball rolling here, but we have to figure something else out, because you can't go back onto that table because you look crazy. It doesn't even look like a dirty diaper hanging off her bum. It looks, if mental illness had an image, if you could draw mental illness, you would literally just draw her body, because there's no way that she is in her right mind if she thinks that her body is healthy looking, if she thinks that it looks good even. This is the line that you cross over when you realize that you've gone too far. And that's how I see her. When I saw her in a bikini on the beach and her legs were the size of toothpicks and her bum was the size of the tires on a car, I said, something ain't right here. I said, what is going on? And people are like jonesing for that body. And those people also are suffering with obviously some kind of mental illness. You cannot look at this woman's body and say she looks normal, she looks good, she looks healthy, she's goals. Kim Kardashian's body is so far from goals. Like, anybody that has skinny legs and a big bum looks crazy. And I don't mean a natural bum and you're naturally skinny and you slim thick, girl. I'm talking about you went and put too much fat where you didn't have the capacity for it. And God is a God of capacity, if you didn't know. I truly believe that she's suffering mentally. She needs Jesus in her life. She needs the Prince of Peace. And then I look at somebody like K. Michelle, who had obviously grown up in church. Somebody that knew God. She may have strayed, but she knew him. And she took her body too far too. But then she said, hold on, wait a minute, something ain't right here. And went back to remove what she had put in. Unfortunately, it was killing her, so she had to do it, but she knew, or she knows now, that she looked crazy. She looked like she ate too many Krabby Patties. Like, that's how these people are looking. These people are going and doing these things to themselves, mutilating themselves, and coming out and regretting it. That's why there's good old shows like Botched, girl. 99% of the people we see need to go on Botched. Even if we look at certain YouTubers that have altered their bodies, a lot of them, like Time the Infamous for one, she was suffering with breast implant illness and had to remove her breast, and she feels so much better now that she's done it. She had to get explant surgery, and she's not the only one. There's so many people that have gone through this because you're not supposed to have foreign objects in your body. It's just you're not supposed to. Even for myself, when I was younger, I got my belly button pierced. And I obviously wasn't supposed to, and it rejected, and then I got it pierced again, and it rejected again, and now I have a scar that I hate. I hate looking at it, but I have to live with it because I made a decision, and it was obviously against the will of God, okay? I think if I hadn't pierced it the second time, the scar wouldn't be so bad, but because I got it pierced more than once, the scar is really bad, and so it's no different than being on a surgery table. It's no different than me having nose rings or earrings. Like, these are things that I've mutilated, or these are things that I've changed about myself that God didn't really intend for me to do. And so when that happens, we're left with the scars to remind us of our mistakes when they were completely avoidable. K. Michelle, I'm sure, has crazy scars on her behind that she's probably embarrassed about or that she can never change, but her story is life-changing. Somebody else may take K. Michelle's story and be like, you know what? If she has all that money and she has to remove it, I ain't going to no Guatemala to get these booty implants, okay? I'm not doing it, or fat transfer, whatever it is. I'm just not going to do it. Because I definitely was like always I was always straddling the fence on whether or not I wanted to get a BBL. I just wanted more junk in the trunk, girl, but girl, no, not me, honey. I can't. People only share what looks good and what sounds good. They don't share the bad stuff. And so I can think on more than one occasion where I've heard celebrities complain about their lives not being as glamorous as they make it look. And so I recall a time where I slowly started unfollowing celebrities off of Instagram because I could tell that they were seeking validation just like the next person. And so I'm not going to be inspired or aspire to be like somebody else when they can't even find validation in themselves, because validation comes from the grace of God. Validation comes from having peace with the Lord and Jesus. It doesn't come from likes or comments on Instagram. And so when I saw that these people that had all these things were still posting pictures looking for attention and validation, I was like, I can't follow these people, girl. I gotta get rid of them. I want you guys to know that the spirit of comparison is extremely dangerous. Only when you stop comparing yourself to other people will you be able to succeed from wherever you are standing right now. You didn't go through the life you went through for no reason. God didn't set you apart for no reason. He did not put certain things inside of you that are dying to come out for no reason. And instead of looking at other people's lives, you have to start looking at your own life and asking God, okay, this happened to me. What do you want me to do with this information? How do you want me to give you the glory in whatever it is that you have planned for my life? What do you have planned for my life? Because I want to be able to receive all that you have for me. And I want to be able to keep my mind in the process. That's the trade-off. That's what everybody else has traded. Their mind, their peace. They've traded that. But if you walk in the will of God, if you walk with your head high in His purpose for your life, you will get to keep your mind and have all the things that you think that you want. And then some. Whatever God pours into you. There's only one way to keep your mind and have the life that you dream of, have the life that you feel is in your heart to have. There's only one way to achieve that life and still keep your mind in the process. Think about how much you've gone through in life to this point and how you even have come out on the other side. If that's not just the grace of God, then I don't know what to tell you. That's literally just the grace of God that's kept you sane through everything you've been through. Some people have not been designed the way you've been designed. Some people have not been allotted that ability to remain standing with their head high after they've been and confused and drugged through the dirt. If you have gone through anything that has been turbulent or traumatizing and still have your mind, at least some of your mind, at least enough of your mind to keep going, then you know that you're set apart and you know that there's more for you in this life, and you know that you have to start talking to God to figure it out, because you can't do it by yourself. We have to learn to worship God throughout the storm. I talked about it in the Pinocchio video. We have to learn to worship Him throughout the storm. Know that He's in the storm with us. We're not in it alone. And so we have to praise Him and pray to Him while we're in the storm. We can't be mad at Him while we're in a storm. You just can't do it, because then you're going to be in the storm for longer than you were supposed to be. And so it's time to turn to Him instead of turning away from Him because you're frustrated with your circumstances that are temporary. You can't keep choosing distraction over Him. You can't keep choosing that, because then you got the ADHD type faith and we ain't got time for it. I'm almost done, but I want to share with you guys a dream that God had given me yesterday morning. I had actually, was it yesterday morning? Yeah. No, the 2 mornings ago I had this dream. And it was 2 people. And one had regular earphones, regular Apple earphones. I have regular Apple earphones. And the other person had AirPods. And the person that had the regular earphones had pulled the earphones out of their pocket. And they were so tangled. And the person's there frustrated. And in the distance, they see the person with the AirPods. And they're looking at that person like, man, I wish I had AirPods. Like, they're contemplating if they should figure out how they can get some AirPods. And as they're doing that, they're sitting there untangling their earphones, because it's about to take them like a good 5 minutes. You know when your earphones are super mangled? Like, they were that tangled. And so they're sitting there frustrated because all they want to do is enjoy their music. They're like, I didn't sign up for this. This is not what I want. So they're there trying to untangle the earphones. Meanwhile, the person that has the AirPods, what they don't know is that that person is on their 3rd set of AirPods, because the first 2 had been stolen. So this person that has AirPods, they look good, but the AirPods have set them back over $600, because AirPods ain't cheap, girl, especially not in the Canadian market. They've set them back $600 because this is their 3rd pair. And so while the person with the tangled earphones is untangling them, jealous or envious of the person with the AirPods, they don't know that that person has struggled because they have something that is not only expensive, but that everybody else thinks that they want, per se. And that person that has spent over $600 on AirPods, they keep having setbacks. They keep having to go back to the drawing board. They keep having to repurchase the AirPods because they keep getting stolen. So that person that has the AirPods in, they can't even really enjoy the music because every time they put them in, they're reminded that they had to spend $600 just to listen to music. Meanwhile, the person with the tangled earphones, though it's taking them a little bit longer to untangle the earphones, they will get to enjoy their music. It's just taking them a little longer and they have to put in a little bit more work. And when God gave me this dream and I had started to write out my lesson for jealousy and envy, the dream had popped back into my head and I'm like, God, you are too awesome for me to even comprehend. I get why people don't believe, girl, because he's too much. Like, God is unfathomable. I said, how could you give me this dream? Like, I'm like, when I had woke up that morning, I'm like, what the hell am I dreaming about earphones and AirPods? What kind of dream is this? But it was literally so that I could put this thing to you guys in plain English. I could have literally just come on here and told you guys that dream and left it at that, but I wanted to build up to it. And so the person that had been untangling those earphones is you and I. It's the people that are using their faith to get from glory to glory to glory. It's not the people that have been edging God out and doing it their way and keep having setbacks because they won't take a minute to say, God, what do you want for my life? I think we can learn to appreciate having to untangle things to get to where we're going, to get to enjoy it, okay? Because the person with the AirPods, they can't enjoy their music. All they're thinking about is, this is my third pair. It's $600. The music don't even sound that good anymore, girl. It don't sound that good because it's been $600. Meanwhile, Miss Tangled over here, or Mr. Tangled, has used the same earphones that came with their phone since they had their phone. The earphones are working fine. They've never had to repurchase or rebuy because God has sustained and maintained them. And that's the kind of favor that we have over our lives. That's the kind of favor that God has blessed us with. So don't be upset when you have to spend 5 minutes to untangle those earphones in your life. Don't be upset when it's taking you longer to achieve what you see other people achieving. Because when God is ready to move you, it's not going to matter who was there first and who was there last. When he's ready to move you, he gonna move you. God is a God of chess, not checkers. Okay? God ain't playing checkers with your life. You are a chess piece. And when he's ready to conquer whatever it is in your life that you need to conquer, he's going to do that. And you're not going to have to wait. Okay? Ain't nobody going to be putting you on hold. You're just going to move. And that's how we have to see God and understand him. God is about to release things for you to grab. He's about to take you from glory to glory to glory. And you have to make sure when he's taking you from glory to glory to glory, you're glorifying him in the process. You have to make sure that you never edge him out like the people with the AirPods, because they're struggling still. They have to put in extra work where you don't have to put in any work. They have to put in extra time that they don't have where you don't have to put in any time, because God is doing it for you. When he actually does move in your life and you go from here to there, those same people that you're looking at are going to look at you like, wait a second now. That girl ain't came from a hole in the wall. She ain't nobody. How did she do that? And only you are going to have that answer. The people that you're looking at with a little bit of jealousy and envy towards, it's them who's going to start looking at you that way. And they're going to try to get that faith bug too. They're going to be like, oh, wait a minute now. That's what God's doing these days. That's what God's been up to. Girl, y'all going to stop sleeping on my Jesus. Y'all going to stop. Look what God has placed inside of you and start to nurture that thing. Water it. Don't water it down. Just water it, okay? Don't drown it now. Just water it and watch it grow and manifest itself. He wants us to do with him and not against him. He wants to help us. He doesn't want to hurt us. We have to understand that when God is ordering our steps, there is no such thing as a setback. The reason that this is so is because when he's ordering our steps, that means he's already gone ahead of us to put things into place. You see, when I was talking to you guys about Pinocchio, Geppetto was already in the whale's belly waiting with a raft for Pinocchio so that they would have a way to escape, so that they would have a way out of the storm, out of the whale's belly. God was already there waiting for Pinocchio to arrive. And that's exactly what's going on in your life right now. Whatever storm you're in, God is there before you get there. He's ordered your steps for you to get there. Because you let me know what Geppetto was doing in the whale's belly, girl. Why was Geppetto already in the whale's belly? Why would Geppetto leave his house and go to the whale's belly? It doesn't even make sense. But he had to be there. Because if he didn't go there, Pinocchio would not have found him anywhere else. He had to go searching. He had to go deep. It wasn't going to be easy when Pinocchio finally decided, okay, I'm going to live right now. It wasn't going to be easy. He wasn't going to just be able to go do all those crazy things and just come back and it's just all honky-dory. He had to go searching for his dad, for his father, for his creator. And so when you search for him, you might get real low. You might have to go super deep, but he will be there waiting for you. So I want to give you guys one assignment for this week, and it is to research someone that appears to have it all together. And if they are not a believer, whether you know or not, that can glorify God in all that they do, take a look at their public setbacks. So I'm going to give you guys an example so you know what I mean. So if we look at Britney Spears, we could see her public setbacks, okay? The first thing that you think about when I say the name Britney Spears is the fact that she shaved her head. Yes or no? True or false? The fact that she shaved her head, she had the umbrella and she was going to hit the car, girl. That is literally the first thing you think about when you hear Britney Spears. And Britney Spears has never really done much to glorify God in her process. So her public setbacks have been embarrassing, and she's pretty much still not all there. I want you guys to think about how you want to be remembered when you leave Earth. And then I want you guys to start trying to do all the things that are going to get you to that place. Not the leaving Earth part, girl, just the what you want to be remembered by. God is definitely going to direct your steps if you allow him in. That's the thing. He only stands on the other side of the door and waits for you to open it and invite him in. If you don't invite him in, he ain't gonna do nothing for you. So you have to invite him in. And I promise you, you will not regret inviting God into your life. I also want to encourage you guys to read the book of Daniel. I want you guys to read it and see what it offers you. I really enjoyed the book of Daniel, and I think that anybody that's on this quest for edification, enlightenment, or just peace can get something from the book of Daniel. I think Daniel's a really good example of what happens when you glorify God in all that you do. Oh, Father God, thank you for filling me up with this word. I just ask that you are over the lives of everybody that watches this video this week. I ask that you give us all the things we need, oh God. Provide us with all the tools, if you haven't already, oh God, to step into our next glory, oh God. I ask that you fill everyone up with the power that you've created us with. Fill everyone up and re-anoint us, oh God, that we may walk beside you and with you instead of against you. You are the Prince of Peace. You are Lord of Lords, oh God. You are worthy to be praised. And we are ready to see you move in our life like never before. We're ready to see you and feel you and your presence every day that we wake up, oh God, and every day that we lay our heads to rest. We want to trust in you. We want to believe in you. We want to have faith and not doubt, oh God. It is you that can provide us with everything and then some. It is you that we must look to for validation and not in other people or what we see online, oh God. You are not online. You are right here and you are before us, oh God, so that we will not stumble. You have taken the steps, oh God, to go before us so that when we arrive, you are there waiting and we are ready to take your hand into the next level. And so today I just pray that anybody that accepts you into their life will have a new spirit and a renewment, oh God, if that's a word. They will be renewed so that they're not looking everywhere but to you. And with the blood of Jesus sprinkled on everybody in their situation, God. It is so. And with that being said, I say amen. So I love you all. Be a light in somebody's life this week, next week, and beyond. And let's do this, okay? Let's do this together. Let's get from glory to glory to glory. Watch another video. Praise Jesus in your spare time. Thank him. Ask him for your forgiveness. Worship him and obey, girl. He's waiting for you. I promise you he's waiting. I gotta go. My mom gotta go to yoga and stuff. I'm up here talking about watch another video. I gotta go. I love you guys. See you soon. I woke up like this. Pretty hard. Shine a light on whatever's worse. I don't remember the lyrics. Okay.